Welcome back to Sanjam Talks. Today we have a guest who is from Houston, Texas, and he is a person who guides the global citizens of India in creating the wealth. So for every NRI, we have two stories. One is the story which is behind the India before traveling to abroad, and one after landing in abroad, like writing the story in abroad. So he's none other than Mr. Raghu Reddy. He's actually a person who made ambitions into action and created wealth to a lot of people. Welcome to India, Anna. So we are meeting after a long time. So I want to introduce you to my audience who are across the globe as well as in India. So మీరు అక్కడ చేస్తున్న సర్వీసెస్ అండ్ మీరు యూఎస్కి ఎలా వెళ్ళారు, ఎలా సర్వైవ్ అయ్యారు, ఐ మీన్ లైక్ హౌ యూ స్టార్టెడ్ యువర్ జర్నీ. ప్లీజ్ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ టు అవర్ వ్యూవర్స్, అన్న.
Sure. First of all, thank you, Srikanth, for having me on your show. On your podcast.
Thank you.
It's my privilege to be here, and where I can provide my experience and how my journey was. And thanks for sharing this with all the audience globally. Personally, I came from a very small background. From a very village background. My father was a farmer. Coming from a small village in Nalgonda. But while growing up, I always wanted to do something big. I always had this idea of having a lifestyle more than living. That's how I was brought up. But if you look at me, the reason where I am today is because of many people have contributed to my success. One of the main person is obviously my parents, who have worked hard. In spite of being in the village, they wanted to give me a good education, so they moved me to my town. The town. But the most inspirational person in my life is my uncle, my mother's brother. He was the one, he's my motivation, my inspiration, because right from my childhood, he was always there with me.
Okay.
He was the one that saw me, that wanted a better life for me than me thinking about my life. He was the one that took me from village to the town, put me in an English medium school. And he always wanted the best for me.
Which area you're from, Anna? In
Nalgonda, a small village called Parapalligudam.
Okay.
It's very small, less than 50 people in the village.
Okay.
And I was the first one that probably went to a school, an English medium school from that village.
Okay.
Right? Back in those days, it was not many people that went to an English medium school.
He's the man behind your
he's the man behind me, right? He wanted the best for me. That's how, he put me, he kind of took a lot of challenges in, because I was very little, there was no support. So he was the one that brought me up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it all got started. Right. So from there on, until 10th standard, I was in Nalgonda.
Mm-hmm.
And then for intermediate, I came to Hyderabad. He was very instrumental, me coming to Hyderabad and having settled down here for my intermediate. And I wanted to do medicine. But I couldn't get in.
Accidentally.
I tried.
Okay.
I tried, did not get in. So I did law for a year. I wanted to get into law because I did not get into medicine.
Okay.
And that's where I met my wife.
Uh-huh.
That's a beautiful accident that happened in my life.
It's a love marriage.
Yeah, it's a love marriage.
Wow. Coincidence.
Yeah. And I didn't like the law. To continue that's not what I wanted to do.
Okay.
I just did it, but it didn't click me.
Okay.
So that's when I said, let me shift my career, and I did Bachelor of Arts.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote all the exams in one time. Then I went for my MBA.
Which year was that?
That was 1996. I passed out of my MBA.
Oh.
Right out of my MBA, my uncle is the one again, who was instrumental. One of his friend was, starting a new business, and he introduced me to him.
Okay.
And we partnered together to start our own business.
At that time you started the business in 1996.
And because the entrepreneurship was there from the beginning, pretty much, because my uncle is the one who left a government job,
mm-hmm.
started his own business, came into construction business. So that kind of, that was an inspiration for me, where I didn't want to do a job.
Okay.
And he also was instrumental. And right out of my college, so he introduced me to business.
Okay.
And I borrowed a lot of money. We didn't have a lot of money. We borrowed a lot of money with high interest rates and all. It only took me 1.5 years where the business went down. The quality of the product was not great. It was a cordless headphones,
Okay.
and I had a state distribution
At that time.
At that point, at that
Okay.
time. The concept was good. Probably I was a little too ahead for the generation.
Okay.
And the quality was not that great. So
At that time, no, I mean, like, much people was not.
the
using
idea
that.
was where parents can watch TV without
Right.
disturbing the kids' education.
Right,
So
right.
that was a concept, and I thought it was a great idea, but didn't click much. And and the product quality also was not that great, so that also did not help. So combination of that, so I had to shut down my business. But one thing with me is, when something goes down, I always look for what is next. Right? And that time, I was not an engineer by education, but most of my friends were going to United States on IBM mainframe software.
Right.
They were
At that
learning
time,
software,
yeah.
and my friends taught me software. I didn't have money to even go to a software coaching. So
Okay.
my friends taught me enough where I could. Then they took me to Delhi. They were doing jobs there, and they took me. I went to Delhi and stayed with them, and then finally I cracked an interview. And through that company, it's a company called Modern Technologies, and they were the one that sponsored me a visa to go to United States.
Wow.
This was back in 1998.
Okay.
And that's how where my entrepreneurship journey stopped, and
You became an employee.
got an entry, and became an employee, got an entry into IT world.
Okay.
I had no clue about IT. I didn't know the spelling of IT, but somehow got into IT thanks to my friends. Again, that's what I said, right? There's a lot of people that contributed to my success and my lifestyle at every step of my way.
The
and
network.
this time it was my friends,
Right.
so who contributed, gave me confidence that I can do it, and that's how I came to United States.
Perfect.
Right, and I continued there for very long, almost. But once I went to US and settled down for a few years, then again my entrepreneurship, the guy Raghu inside came out, and
So, how many years you worked as an employee?
I was there for 17 years. 17 years
As an employee in the mainframes?
As in not mainframe. I kind of switched to different
Technologies.
softwares, and mainly majority of my career I worked in business intelligence, SAP business intelligence. That was my main focus, and moved into project management, program management in the later stages of my life. And
So, after working for so many years, what sparked you to get into the business again? Because your profession was going well at that time.
yes,
So, what made you to get into entrepreneurship?
as I said, right, I mean the business is in the blood. I mean in my mind, because that's how I've grown up.
Right.
Right, and right out of my college, I wanted to be an entrepreneur, and that did not happen. Even after going to United States after 4 or 5 years, I started investing in different companies. I invested in liquor stores. I invested in construction. I invested in an IT staffing company. A few things, but every business has a risk, so they
Right.
did not go well.
Right.
So it's the second time. By 2010, I came to zero again.
Oh.
Two times in my life, I came to zero.
Okay.
I said, I should start something of my own, with my own knowledge. So I went to a real estate school in 2010, and went to a real estate mentorship school.
There is a concept for that.
Yeah, and I paid $10,000.
No one knows about it.
Nobody knows about it.
$10,000?
$10,000 to learn how to do real estate, how to buy a property and rent a property
In 2010.
in 2010.
Okay.
But so that $10,000, I thought it was a big amount in the beginning, but the way I learned how to do real estate,
It was a big amount.
it really helped me to do in a very systemic way.
Right.
Now, how the system works and how to do it the right way, and how we don't, how not to make a lot of mistakes in doing real estate.
Right.
So, tons of experience was shared in that training, and I made it count. I bought more than 20 rental properties using that knowledge that I had in the next 5-10 years. So it was a good comeback. I mean, basically, I became zero twice, but recovered and was going well. That's when in 2017, I got an opportunity to get into financial services through my wife. Actually, she was a realtor, and one of my friend in Dallas, he was doing business in financial services. He left his IT job and is doing full time in financial services. And through him, we came to know there's a lot of potential in the financial services domain. But I didn't have guts because
So taking risk is very important in the
Yes.
life to grow. So
Yes.
that you took for twice.
twice,
And,
and I
you
didn't
got
I didn't have the guts third time, in the sense, and to leave something that I'm already doing in real estate. I have a good job, fairly good job, so didn't want to take. But thanks to my wife, she's the one. She said, I'm going to do it.
She's the backbone again.
She's the one started it, and I was helping in the back end. But 6 months into the game, and I realized this has much bigger potential, much bigger space. Then I started part time and learned the trade. Did for 6 months to gain the confidence. After 6 months later, then I said it's time to move on, and I let go my real estate. I let go my job after 6 months. I didn't make a lot of money in the first 6 months, but it gave me enough confidence that I can do it. I can survive in this industry. So it gave me enough confidence that I can leave my job.
Okay, that was
Right?
in 2017.
That was in 2017. First 6 months to 1 year was a struggle because one, it's a new business, new industry, and I didn't have the skills. I didn't have a lot of network. I didn't know a lot of people, and I was more like a guy who was working siloed in the job.
Right.
And then just
I think that's the time we met.
Yes.
I came to your home.
Yes,
Yeah, I was there. I
think
was
it
in
was
the
in
meeting.
2018 or 2019. Yeah.
2018.
Yes.
I was there.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's how it all got started, and later on it became much bigger.
Okay.
Yeah.
So especially when you tell about these financial services, so how that is helping the people to build the wealth, and what is your contribution in that?
Yeah, so financial services, first of all, it's a very vast space, right? There's a million things you can, like real estate.
Right.
You can do a million things in financial services too, right? Most people, they come to this industry, but they start very little. They dream very little, they come with small goals, right? Most of the people end up being a financial advisor or a life insurance agent or a mortgage professional. But the space is much bigger. You can make it as big as you want, right? So what we main focus of our business is creating wealth for families, right? People are working very hard, almost 30 to 40 years of their life. They're working very hard, but the bottom line is their money is not working hard.
Right.
So there's a huge gap. There's a huge problem that people are working very hard, but if the money is not working hard, they're not going to have a good lifestyle.
Financial
Right?
education.
And two important things, right? The financial education and the financial freedom, and the importance of having time in life.
Right.
The freedom of time and the freedom of money, both are important, but people are not realizing early in the game.
Right.
Right? Yeah. Even people like me who tried, we had failures. Once we have some failures, and we tend to take a back seat.
Right. Right.
And that's when most people fail. Today, if you look at the data, Srikanth, 90% of people are only contributing to 10% of wealth, whereas 10% of entrepreneurs and investors are contributing to 90% of world's wealth.
Wow. Great.
Right? If you look at 50, 100 years ago, most of us, our parents or grandparents, they had their own family business, pretty much.
Right.
90% of us, we had our own family business.
Right.
Fast forward 50, 100 years, 90% of us turned into employees.
Right.
There was a generation,
the shift.
Shift happened that, go study well, get a good job, study well, get a good job.
That's how the system
and we
is.
probably, we self-brainwashed ourselves.
Right.
Maybe, the situation, whatever. There's a million reasons why it happened.
Right.
But it happened.
Right.
Right?
The education system is like that.
So two things. One, by being an employee, we are never going to achieve the time freedom.
Right.
It is never going to start. We can never be financially free, and we can never have time freedom with that because we're always under the surveillance of somebody, right? And we are in that what do you call on a mission to educate people on how to start a business and build a business in financial services, right? And make it big.
సో మీకు తెలుసు అన్న ఇప్పుడు యూఎస్లో అందరు జనాలు అంటే హౌ దే ఆర్ గోయింగ్ త్రూ దిస్ మెంటల్ ట్రామా అబౌట్ ద వీసాస్ అండ్ దర్ లైఫ్ స్టైల్ సో హౌ ఇన్ దిస్ సిచ్యువేషన్ వాట్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ హెల్ప్ యూ కెన్ డూ టు బిల్డ్ ద వెల్త్ ఆఫ్ దేర్ ద NRIs who are in that?
So when you say building wealth, it is in two forms. One is building something of your own, right? Building something of your own that creates a stable income from a business side, right? The second side of it, making your money work as an investor. So you're playing two roles, right? You cannot achieve that with one.
Right.
So you got to be a good entrepreneur, have a good business idea, work on that idea, make it work and make it successful. The second one is learn how to make the money work for you.
Okay.
Right? We are working hard, but the
Right.
question is, are
How
we
the
making
money
our
is
money
working.
work hard? So the creating wealth or building wealth is two separate ways we can do it.
Right.
Right? And we focus on both of them because many people are working almost 40 years.
Right.
So if we can teach them how to start a business and how to build a business and how to become independent and without investing a lot of money or without investing a lot of time, why not?
Right.
And financial services is a space where it doesn't require a lot of investment. And anybody can start. Like a guy who was in IT making about $120,000 annual income can start and come here and make millions of dollars. Why not anybody?
We have that much of scope?
Yeah. I mean, as a team, in just about 6 years, we made more than $100 million.
Wow.
And
Amazing.
with less than $1,000 investment.
Great.
So it doesn't require investment. It is all about a time investment and your work ethic.
Right.
Right? And there's a lot of potential in the industry. But anybody can. The great news is you don't need to have a business knowledge. You don't need to have financial knowledge. You don't need to have anything.
So especially when we talk about US geography, so everyone is dependent on visa.
Yes.
So can they work, do business legally? What you are saying, the health, insurance and all, the financial thing.
Financial services?
Yeah, financial
forget about financial services. I'm not an attorney. I cannot give legal advice. And everybody who is watching this, they have to go through a legal process to find out more details. But as far as my knowledge goes, you don't need to have a visa to start a business.
Okay.
Yeah, America is a land of opportunities. They provide opportunities for you to start your own business without having any visa restrictions.
Okay.
But what I also know is you can't work for your own company. You can start a business, hire people, and run like a business, but you cannot work in your own business because you don't have visa to work in that.
Right.
Again, as I said, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm only sharing the information that I know.
Yeah, viewers, definitely, you guys have to approach the attorneys before starting anything.
Yeah, but I also take this example like Infosys, right? And Tata, TCS. They have started the companies in the United States. I'm sure they don't have US visas.
Yeah,
am I right?
They don't.
So, that kind of tells me that you can really start a business without having any visa restrictions.
Okay.
But you got to do it the legal way. Right? You can't just do it with your own Google knowledge.
True. That's true. So coming to the education system again, no one is having the financial education. So when come to US again, so what kind of help you can give to the people, who want to approach and do something in financial growth?
So before going to help, one is building wealth, financial side. The other one is also I want people to have that entrepreneurship mind.
Okay.
Right? All our life we have been taught, study well, get a good job. That's not gonna go well in the future. The way the future is going now, people are more focused on lifestyles. It's not the same.
Right.
20 years ago, 30 years ago, and there's pretty much people have a stable life.
Right.
But we have so much of options now,
The
gadgets, the lifestyles. The money that we're going to make as an employee is not going to be enough.
Right.
And I've seen most people hating money. You cannot hate money and make money. Right?
That's true.
And I know money is not everything, but money is an important piece of life.
Right.
And it's a good energy for life. But people are not focusing on that. And they're working for 40 years for that same money. But we don't want to talk about that money.
Right.
The concept of money or the talking of money is more like a taboo. We don't want to talk about it. Right?
And we want to make the money.
But we want to make the money. It doesn't work that way.
Right.
We most of us are very uncomfortable discussing about money topics.
Right.
We don't ask people, what is the best way to invest money? What is the best way to make money? We don't ask.
True.
We don't go to successful people and ask them, can you teach me how to become successful? Have you seen anybody asking
how to
become successful?
Right.
But what I've seen is many successful people, they're willing to share their knowledge.
Right.
But nobody's asking them.
So there are a lot of financial doctors available in the market. But
anybody who is successful, if you go to them and ask them, can you teach me how to become successful? I'm sure at least 9 out of 10 people will be openly willing to teach.
Wonderful.
Because once you gain the knowledge, people want to share it actually. That's the natural tendency.
Right.
but we don't ask. That's, as I said, right, the concept of not talking about it.
ట్రూ. ఒక ఎంటర్ప్రినర్గా షిఫ్ట్ అయినప్పుడు టు స్టార్ట్ ద బిజినెస్ వాట్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ ఛాలెంజెస్ యూ హ్యావ్ ఫేస్డ్?